Hi guys, and welcome to our channel Diabetesdocke. Thank you so much for watching today. We have a very exciting topic ahead of us. So today we're going to talk about body composition. And I know most of you are like, what is that? Don't worry, we're going to demystify it. With me here is a very special guest. I want him to introduce himself. Karibu sana Micah. Please officially introduce yourself.
Hello everyone, my name is Micah Kibera. I am a clinical nutritionist practicing in the country, and I'm honored to be here today. I'm humbled. Yeah.
Thank you, Micah. So before we get too far, because we still want to understand, many of us know BMI. Me, I know my BMI. It's not very good, it's not very bad, but you know, we all know what we need to work on when we look at BMI. But now here you are bringing a new concept called body composition. Just explain to us what exactly is this to a layman.
So BMI classifies your weight based on your height.
Yeah.
So think of it this way. You have a shelf space, and the longer your shelf space, the more space you have to store a lot of things. So you can have a wide shelf space, and you can have a slender, long
shelf space. Yes.
Now, that is BMI. Body composition comes and asks you, what are you putting in those shelf spaces? What is the quality of the weight you're holding? So, if you have more muscles than fat, then definitely you'll find you, in terms of energy, utility, you're a bit optimal.
Yeah.
But your weight might be high.
Yes.
If you do your BMI, it will be above average.
Above average, yes.
So, that's why the concept of body composition analysis features.
Okay.
So that it can complement whatever the BMI does.
Okay, so we are not getting rid of BMI, we are just adding value to the BMI.
Exactly.
I get you now. So explain to us what this whole process is. I know we've already seen how it is done. Please just tell us what exactly happens. What is this machine?
So the machine I'm using is called an InBody Analyser from InBody. Okay. And it uses the science of bioimpedance analysis. It simply transmits some electric impulses through your body, and different cells in your body have different resistance to electricity, and that's how we come up with the estimation of value. Okay. The golden standards to body composition analysis is a machine called the DexArray. So the machine I'm using has a 98.7 accuracy in comparison to the DexArray, because the DexArray is a bit bulky and the cost of putting it up is a bit hefty. So bioelectric impedance analysis comes in to cover the gap.
Okay. And so when you do this, it gives you some data. So you do this like we saw you do on our beautiful model earlier, and it gave you some data. So can you help us interpret how the kind of data that you get and what you make out of it?
Yes. So, as you can see from the screen, it first of all starts by breaking down the composition a bit by telling us how much water in liters you're holding, how much proteins you're holding. Proteins are what you use to do repairs. Yes. And then how much minerals, whatever you're using to clot and so forth, and then how much body fat you're holding, and then the total weight at the bottom.
Interesting.
Then we go to the muscle analysis, which will give us your weight, and then how much muscle you're holding, and then in comparison to those muscles, how much fat you're holding. Yeah. So instead of only relying on the BMI, when you see someone with a low muscle count, you know definitely they need to be a bit more active, so that during the process of atrophy and repairing, they get a bit bulkier and they get better energy. If you have more fat mass, then fat is the most visible weight you can ever have. So let me briefly explain something. Yes. Imagine 1 kilogram of stone and 1 kilogram of feathers. Which one occupies more space?
Feathers.
So feathers are like fat. So fat weight is visible weight. Yes. Muscles are more intentionally placed in the body, hence giving the toned look. So that's why the analysis is important. Yes. So if I find you have a low protein count, that definitely will tell me your muscles will be good.
And actually, it's very good that you brought up that point, because we always tell people there are two concepts that come into play when you say that. One is the fact that you can have a big BMI, but it's because you're full of muscle. And that's why BMI sometimes is not so accurate, because you'll find someone's BMI says they are obese, but when you look at them, they look very fit, but it's because their muscle is what is giving them all that weight. And then also, that also helps me to understand why sometimes my patients, the ones maybe who have pre-diabetes, diabetes, and I've told them you need to lose weight, then they go to the gym and they gain weight rather than lose weight, and they are so disappointed in themselves. But it's because they are probably gaining some muscle in the process.
Yeah.
Isn't that right?
It's true.
So if they do a body composition, it's easier for them to understand that, yes, I've gained weight, but it's because the muscle is higher, but the fat is lower, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
We call it a plateau in weight loss.
Yes.
So you find that your graph is flat.
Yes.
That simply means the amount of muscles you're building is equivalent to the amount of fat you're losing. So your graph won't move.
Yes.
But the best way to notice progress during plateau is what we call non-scale victories. Do your inches, do your centimeters, your waist,
yes,
and also on your arms, and you will see the changes.
I hope you've had, that's a very good tip right there. So if you've just started gymming and you're just worried because the weighing scale is not saying anything, do your inches. Good, thank you. And then from there, where do we go? From muscle fat analysis?
So it takes a step ahead and does something called segmental lean analysis, whereby it just shows you whether the weight you're holding is well distributed. So your muscles, it divides the body into 4 quadrants, the upper twice, and then the lower twice, to show how much weight is held by each quadrant in terms of muscle and fat. So if you find someone, let's say for example, their left leg in terms of fat is still high, then there's a probability that person has an injury to that foot. So whenever they go to exercise, the body, without knowing it, has some leniency on that side. So you'll find them limping or walking in a way that suggests that foot is not okay. So that's for the segmental lean analysis.
Okay.
Now, it's also important to notice whenever you create space, there's always reorganization. So the plateau also indicates when you're losing weight, the body has to reorganize itself to keep you in symmetry. Otherwise, you'll be one side is lagging behind. So that's the same thing. The segmental lean analysis helps you to see that. It also shows if any section of the body is not worked out adequately. Let's say your lower limbs, it shows low in terms of muscle, but the fats are high. That's an indicator that you have to involve the lower waist in your activity levels. Or anywhere you can take an advantage of a walk or a hike, do it.
Okay, great. So that's really good information. I think that is valuable information that, again, we do not get when you just go for a random BMI check. So I love the value addition. And then what's the next step?
So it also keeps a body composition history. Every time you step on the scale, it keeps your data and then draws up the graph for you so that you can see your progress.
Yes.
And it always assesses you based on you.
Yes.
You are your greatest adversary, you are your greatest supporter. So from your initial readings, you keep seeing yourself whether you're going up or down, or where you have to modify yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much. Is that all?
On the other side, it gives some, we call it some research parameters.
Yes.
Particularly the BMR, based on metabolic rate, which can be said to be the amount of energy you utilize in 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
So the lower your BMR, then definitely the higher the tendency to stop. Because if your consumption or the fuel you're giving is higher than what you're able to burn in 24 hours, then definitely be stores. It also looks at the waist to hip ratio, which is also a good indicator of non-scale victories. So there's what we call gonadal obesity and android obesity. So gonadal is the one that looks at the hips. Ladies are the ones who tend to have it because most of the maternal stores go to the hips. Android obesity, especially for gents, comes to the abdomen. So you know the android shape. So initially we were talking about pear shape, apple shape. It's gonadal obesity and android obesity. So android is that guy who the waist and the hips, 1 is equals to 1. Gonadal, you have to tend beyond, you see the hips protrude out wider than the waist.
Yes. Interesting. So all this is actually can be used for research purposes?
Yeah, you can use this data to follow up your clients and see the qualitative values of the changes their bodies are giving. You can even see, let's say you are tracking someone for reversal.
Yes.
And you want to see the effects of weight on how the insulin utility is, or how much are you cutting off in terms of insulin per weight loss. You can follow up and see.
Wow, that's amazing. So thank you so much. I think this is so much value addition in just this one machine. I didn't know it can give so much information. Is there anything else that it does, or we are?
So with every assessment, you can print out and hand the results over to the client, and they can keep a physical copy themselves, or you can share it to them as an email. Okay. So that they always have a source of reference every time they come.
Great. So guys, you've heard it, you've seen how it's done. It's such a simple test. No needles involved. I know you guys, you're scared of pain, but this is something that can be done and can be used to track your progress. And remember, like he said, your biggest competitor is you, and your biggest cheerleader or supporter is still you. So we want to base you on you. What is your track progress? And guess what? It is available at Diabetesdocke Clinic. So if you would like to know more about it, if you want to get it done for yourself, or if you want us to start a process of tracking your weight gain or weight loss, depending on what you want, please visit us. Micah will be there in clinic with me. We will see you and we will give you a very comprehensive checkup, and from there we will walk the journey with you. Karibu sana. Remember, Upper Hill Medical Center, room 4C, that's where to find us. Thank you so much. Asante sana, Micah.
Thank you, Trinidad. Okay.